Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful business athlete nation. Yeah, baby, come on. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, where we're serving up truth muffins with a side of habit stacks. Yes, if you're new here, I welcome you. Quick heads up, this is an R-rated experience. So either put those headphones on, the children, or walk out of the room. Because I guarantee you there will be an F-bomb, B-bomb, S-bomb, some kind of bad language that might offend somebody on the show today. Yes, speaking of which, what's coming up? Today's lab experiment is stacked. We got Jonathan Bannister dropping some tech truth bombs about Google's grip spike, Spencer. Spike! Jimmy, we never had a spike in a lab before. No. We got a Spike Spencer sharing his survival story and a morning ritual. A morning ritual that turned into a $50 million exit. And guys, it's actually not that complicated, but we're going to talk about it today. Plus, breaking down emotional check-ins that'll reset your entire day. And hey, don't remember, you guys hit that snooze button. That's what we're all about here on the show. Hey, I learned yesterday, Sweden, the highest snoozing nation in the world. Yeah, they're all 9 minutes behind. They're all 9 minutes behind the guy who doesn't. So, we are your daily accountability partner, getting after it every single day, 8 o'clock right here on YouTube, over there on X, over there on LinkedIn, over there on Substack, coming up on Kick as well. Here to help you start your day right, man, with laughter, insights, and zero filler along the way. Jimmy, let's bring in the boys. See Marty fit to kick off the morning loop this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. What's up, Marte? Christopher Martin. Oh, you're muted, pal. I do not hear you on the vertical unless it's me. Jimmy, is it me? It could actually be me too.
Nah, it's me.
I don't
you
know.
Good? It's me.
There you go. There you go, pal. How are you, brother? Good to see you here today.
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
Dude, I was saying to Jimmy on the before the show started, man, I've added sleep to my non-negotiables, Marty. I know it's a no-brainer. Like, I know it's an actual no-brainer, but I had a dull moment. I'm like, no, I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And man, I've been doing it all for the last 2 weeks, Marty. I feel like a fucking $1 million today. I'm serious, man. I've been focusing on getting sleep in bed by 8 o'clock, closing eyes by 9 o'clock, up at 3:30, 3:40. Dude, eyes wide open today, ready to jump out of bed and get after it. Just ready to get after it.
Game changer.
It is a game changer.
I hope to get there. I hope to get there.
I know it's so obvious, Marty, but yet so difficult to do, eh? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know, man.
I know you know.
I'm working on it myself.
Yeah. How was the weekend, man? As we kick off the loop here this morning on the Monday of Mornings in the Lab with Keith Friends. How was your weekend this weekend, pal?
It was good, man. It was chill because I went to New York the weekend before.
Yes.
And so I was just chilling this weekend, man. I didn't do anything.
You did drop something in my feed this weekend, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I want to put it on the table for us to talk about this morning. You dropped a video.
You know what I say to myself when I see videos like that?
Tell me.
That's a Keith-ass video.
Yes. I want to see that. I tuned into your show last night. Oh,
you did? Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
The Steve Marty Fit podcast running last night on YouTube. It runs. Marty, when are you running these days? Are you? I know your schedule is kind of a little bit all over the place. So when are you dropping it? I know Sundays is one of your nights. Fridays is one of your nights. Who's it not?
Yeah, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. So.
Yeah. So you guys looking for a great podcast, needing some laughter, some content that will make you pause, content that will make you question reality, some content that will make you get your ass out of bed and question, the belly that you're carrying around your body. I'd invite you to watch the Marty podcast.
What part did you see? You remember?
Dude, yeah, I was watching the guy do push-ups, and I was watching the guy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was watching that.
Was crazy.
It was fucking crazy, man. I got a really important message from our brother John Andersen this morning. He was trying to figure his tech out, so I know he's joining us here in a nanosecond or so. But while we're doing that, what's that?
Is he out of town?
No, he's in Mexico, but I know he's here right now there. Good morning, okay. Rufy. Good morning. June 2025 is going to be the best month yet. I agree with you. We're kicking off a brand new month here in the lab. What's going on, Johnny? Are you getting after, brother? You got yourself all sorted out?
I think I'm in the horizontal twice. Is that correct?
No, we got you on the horizontal individually. We got Johnny. You got it all set up, brother. You are ready to roll here today.
Johnny.
I'm frozen. I'm actually frozen on my screen.
Oh, well,
we see you moving.
Yeah, you're moving around fine on our side. Yeah. So producer Jimmy is saying John is all good here. So, Jimmy, if you want to tell Johnny he's all good, I can send him a text as well. But Jim, let's get this video. I want to drop the video that Marty sent over to me. I want to run this. Let's have a little chat about it. Jimmy, let's run it.
Going to the gym and working out, building muscles, their haircut, the clothes they wear. That's a third. That's 1/3 of a man. But they will not sit down and read poetry. They won't go to a museum and look at artwork. Okay, they won't get in touch with the soul. And they for sure will not read the Bible and go to church. But you've got Christians that are the same way. They will do all of the faith stuff. But to go to a gym, to go on a diet, that's why you've got 300-pound preachers with bug eyes spreading the buttons on their shirt standing in a pulpit. They're only 1/3 of a man, okay? They're not taking care of the physical. And they for sure will not listen to Mozart, or read Longfellow. And you go and you sit and you listen to them, you're like, man, this is like a hollow man. It's not that he doesn't know the Bible, but this is not somebody I want to hang around with. Why? Because they're only 1/3 of a man. They are ignoring 2/3 of the Trinity that is them. In Genesis chapter 2, God said, let us, plural, make man in our image. Now that doesn't, to me, when I read and studied this so much, that doesn't mean that God had 2 hands. And God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. But God is a Trinity. There is God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. So when God made us in his image, he made us a Trinity. Okay? We're a body, we're a soul, and we're a spirit. So if a man is not complete, if he doesn't have that faith, he's only 2/3 of a man.
Yeah.
And so if you ignore faith, you're never going to be a complete man. You have to focus equally on all 3 parts of the Trinity that you are. Socrates was a renowned wrestler. Did you know that?
I didn't.
He was a very famous, very renowned wrestler. He wasn't just a brain. Reading poetry won't make you weak. Okay? If it did, I'd be a complete milksop. I love poetry. All right? One of the things I remember, I was in Sydney, Australia. I went in one of the main museums there, and I went through, and there was a painting there that it just stopped me in my tracks. And I just stood there for I don't know how long and just soaked it in. You have to work on all 3 parts of your Trinity. And so faith is at least 1/3 of becoming the man that God intended you to be. Let me put it like that.
Marty, awesome. So moving, God aside, because some folks might be. Listen, we all have our
Well, there are different names for what we believe in.
Exactly. So I'm glad you said we all have our beliefs, but I love that, Marty. When you saw that, what struck you most about that, brother?
Because a lot of people, I get a lot of hate on my fitness videos and stuff. There's a lot of people say, well, there's more to being a man than fitness. And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
What part of the video did I say that fitness is the only part of being a man? I'm a fitness coach, so I'm going to preach fitness, So a lot of people assume that when you focus on one thing, or you're, a quote unquote expert or a coach in one thing, that you're not working on the other stuff too. And I'm big on working on everything, improving everywhere. And one of my friends, he always says self-improvement is always on the menu. So you might be strong in one area, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably lacking somewhere else. None of us are perfect. So in order to be a real man, you do have to improve in every area and focus on it. So that's just my thoughts.
And I love Johnny. Before you jump in, I just want to add on to what Chris was saying here, because John said something a couple weeks ago, Marty, that just keeps resonating with me, and I love it. If we as men spent as much time on, I'll add 2 things to what you've said, Johnny, to our emotions and to our mental state, like we do our abs or our chest, Marty, the strength us men would have. Think about it. All the guys that come to you and say, hey, Marty, I want to get a strong chest or a strong 6-pack. Just kind of, go with me here, right? But yet they're ignoring what's happening up here or is happening in their emotions or happening in their spirituality. So to your point, if we spent as much time on those things as we do trying to get the 6-pack, could you imagine how strong we as men can be? And that's what when Johnny said that a couple weeks ago, it really resonated with me. Andersen, thoughts on that?
It's it's very, very clear. You can see the people that do it, and you can see the people that don't.
Yes.
It's pretty fucking simple. You could, I guess you'd say that the people that are talking smack on your stuff, Marty, they're the ones that, they live in that majority, that 87+% of people that are unhappy with their lives. And they're unhappy with their lives because they're putting their attention in the wrong spot.
So true.
They don't get it. And when they see someone putting attention in the right spot, it makes them feel less. So they'd rather throw a turd to knock that person down.
It's what it is. It's what it is.
Agreed.
Hey, Ross, I'll see you there in the comments. Ross, this is for you.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Am I missing something?
Johnny. I know you had a little struggles getting in here, but I got to catch up with you, man. How was your weekend loop before we got Jonathan Bannister joining us on the show today? How are you, Andersen? What's shaking, brother?
This is like crazy shit because I could hear you, but the fucking screen is like froze the majority of the time. It's almost like I'm on a telephone call. It's fucking really, really wild. Like Marty right now is in that position where he's got his hand on his face because you just made that weird sound. And he's just sitting there.
I'm gonna send the pigeon with some paper, Marty, and a pencil so it can be scribbling it in front of Andersen while we're talking here. We got Johnny joining us from Mexico today on a dial-up modem.
Actually, to answer your question, we had actually a tropical storm roll in here.
Really what was that like?
So, it was warm rain. Lots of warm rain. It's kind of it comes and goes. So yesterday morning, true to what I do, I was supposed to squat. So I was squatting in the warm rain. It was fun.
Nicely done. Hey, we got Jonathan Bannister joining us here in a couple minutes. Why the CEO says Google's grip on local marketing is crumbling. But before we do that, guys, have you ever wondered if your private habits are secretly sabotaging your testosterone levels? Marty, we're diving deep into the science behind testosterone and masturbation, busting myths and revealing what research actually says about your hormones and health. Guys, the real impact of masturbation on testosterone is crucial. It affects your energy, your mood, your muscle gain, and overall health. By getting clarity, that post-nut clarity, Marty, we talked about before, you can confidently separate harmful myths from beneficial facts. Guys, testosterone levels naturally spike briefly during sexual activity and immediately after ejaculation, returning quickly to baseline. There's temporary fluctuations, have no lasting hormonal or health impacts. But guys, here's what it is. Research consistently shows no negative long-term effects on testosterone levels due to regular masturbation. As a matter of fact, Johnny, frequent masturbation may even correlate slightly with higher testosterone over time. Some key research findings, Marty, a temporary increase, 45% in testosterone after short periods of abstinence normalizes quickly. Overall, these studies show no significant hormonal risk associated with masturbation. Because the question came from this, you guys. There's medical experts that are unanimously agreeing that masturbation is a normal, healthy activity with no harmful consequences. Some of the stats out there, Marty, have been that if you masturbate too much, you lose testosterone. No, it's not the case, guys. Get your what is it, Marty? Empty your clip and just take care of yourself to get that those hormones on the right level.
That's just simple, Marty, man.
Just kicking off the show with some facts on a Monday, brother.
It's facts. If you've experienced it, you can't even deny that.
No.
Now,
Speaking of
if you want to,
yes,
I was just gonna say, if you want to combat that, then you haven't been through it.
That's exactly it. That's
get it together.
That's exactly it. We got Azim Khan going, and I just got my testosterone tracked at 618 over 650. I love this, man. I fucking love this. I'm not a frequent masturbator, but I do agree masturbation doesn't affect the testosterone at all. Azim, I love you.
What does frequent mean? What does frequent mean?
Yeah, so it's frequent. Once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. However often you empty the clip, it's an important conversation we need to be having here in the lab. Hey, before we bring in Jonathan Bannister, we're going to talk quickly about Froning. Marty, this one I thought of specifically for you. Have you ever wondered if someone is dating you for you or just for what you represent? Today, diving into Froning, the viral dating trend. Marty, where people enter relationships primarily to boost their own reputation. It's essentially putting your partner on a metaphorical throne to display them to others, rather than actually caring about them as a person. And according to psychologists, Marty, it's happening way more than anyone wants to admit. And one of the reasons might be because of bop girls. only fangirls. It just might be this idea that, okay, well, let's use you. I'm going to use you as a role play. I'm a female. You're a male. I think you're attractive. I think you're pretty hot. You got a lot going on. I might just want to have you as my partner to make me look better, to get me to the next stage in life.
Yeah, that's definitely happening. We're in such a superficial world, you know.
Yes,
people,
yes.
And things aren't genuine like they used to be back in the day. So I definitely believe it.
Psychology today. Go ahead, Ronnie. Yeah.
Now, I was going to say, I even think it happens with the non-only fan girls. You know.
Oh, I think it's happening everywhere. Psychology Today recently reported that Froning is actually a specific form of hypergamy, the practice of dating or marrying someone of higher status to better your own situation. So Marty, I'm going to have a little fun with you here. Not that we're pointing fingers at anybody, but I'm just wondering. I'm going to ask the curious question that all men are asking out there. Does Jordan Peterson really love Bill Belichick? Or is Bill Belichick dating Jordan Peterson because she just happens to be?
Is that his young girlfriend?
That's the young girlfriend. That's part of his
role.
role.
Okay, all right. Well, you said Jordan Peterson. I was thinking of the Canadian dude.
Isn't that her name?
I think it's Jordan. I don't know if her last name's Peterson.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So it's not me. Yeah, but anyways, I was just having some laughter because that's a high profile situation in the news there, right?
Come on, man. And yo, you hear all the shit she's fucking up?
Yes.
Bro, no, that's not love, bro.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. And so
love, bro.
Is that this behavior is not limited to dating, right? Some people aim to become more popular by associating themselves with other people in any context, work, friendships, even gym buddies. The most alarming part, Marty, is that social media has supercharged throning. When your relationship is consistently on display, the temptation to choose partners based on how the look on your profile becomes even stronger. So how do you know if you're being thrown? Experts have identified key warning signs. They're nicer to you in public than in private. They constantly mention or ask about your reputation. They excessively brag about you to others, but it feels shallow. They seem cold and calculating when you're alone, and they don't even show genuine interest in you as a person. Marty, it's true, man. I think it's true. People are out there throwing each other before you know it. They're just out there, dating you because of who you are, not because of or what you've achieved or what you have in the bank, not for who you are.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the good people, the actual genuine people, that we get the short end of the stick,
Right. Yeah. All right. For the good people, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still ways to navigate and be successful out here. You just got to be a little more careful and learn to pick up on signs and everything like that.
Let's say, hey, listen, what if the real scam, Marty? What if the real scam in marketing isn't the agency, but your brand? Today's guest, coming up in a minute, Jonathan Bannister, says shady marketers aren't the problem, Marty, but forgetful businesses are. Jimmy, let's do the accountability check-in. Then we're going to bring in our guest, Jonathan Bannister, the CEO of Top Serve Digital and the man behind Home Service Hustle, a podcast. Jimmy, people are still doing podcasts that talk money, marketing, and the mindset needed to grow a home. Bannister, here's the thing. Dude, you got up this morning anyways. You're hanging out with me anyways. You're up this morning doing your thing. You could have a live conversation with your community right now, Bannister. You could record that and you could have you could kill two birds with one stone. You could be the guy in the morning owning the conversation for a live conversation, and then, Jonathan, having an on-demand podcast. I'd invite you to think about that. Bannister. Just something to think about. I'm just telling you. All right, here's the accountability check. And you guys, transforming your life is easier when you challenge your own assumptions. I came from nothing. Yeah, true story. I remember getting coal. Marty, I got coal a couple Christmases in my stocking. True. I wasn't fed with a silver spoon, wasn't fed with a bronze or platinum spoon. Yet I built and I sold a company for $50 million. Yeah, true story. Johnny likes to tell that story more than I do, but I'm just saying. But that would have never happened if I didn't challenge my assumptions. How often do you tell yourself this? I'm too busy to take care of myself. I'm just not good with money. I'm not a morning person. I've missed my window. I have a podcast. What? Bannister's like, what? This is just who I am. But is any of it true? Or is it the story you tell yourself because you heard it from someone else? Or you grew up watching those around you say it to themselves? I had to unlearn a lot of shit to become the man I am today. Thousands of dollars in therapy. Hours and hours in therapy. thousands of hours of conversations, unlearning. And it all started with questioning what I believed about myself. I still do it today. So when those thoughts come at you, question the hell out of them, nation. Question the fucking hell out of them. And replace them with who you want to be. Because only you can make that choice. I'm never too busy to take care of myself. I'm responsible with my money. I love getting up in the morning. I never stop learning. I'm going to not make a podcast and make a live show. Because the life you want depends on what you believe about yourself. So nation, I invite you this. Glasses off. Change the story. Change everything. It starts now. Not someday, the magical day on the calendar. Not one day, the other magical day on the calendar. It starts today on Monday. Yep, true story. All right, Jimmy. Speaking of true story, we got the Mornings in the Lab store up live and at 'em. We got a few great products up there. The True Story hat. We got Perfection Over Progress hat. We got a few hats up there. Let's look at the comments here this morning. We got Azim coming back with, I just got a girl, so no ding ding at all right now. But before I used to masturbate around 2-3 times a week. Good for you, Azim. Hey, we got to do what we got to do. Azim, I want your glasses. I know these glasses aren't for sale, pal. Good morning, Holroyd. Good to see you there in the comments. Let's check over in the horizontals, Jimmy. Good morning, Lauren, baby. Good to see you in the comments as well. Adam Peters coming in with that. Masturbation not be the big issue, but the porn you're looking at while masturbating is a big problem. Yes. There's some truth happening over there, Adam Peters. And of course, we got Lady Drew. Lady Drew, appreciate having you in the lab as always. Morning. Thank you for your event and having everybody. Lady Drew, always great to have you in the comments every single day. A loyal listener and a member of the Mornings in the Lab community. I invite you guys, 3 membership levels, $2, $10, and $20 to join the behind the scenes happenings over here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. All right, Marty, we got a guest here coming up here in a second. Jonathan Bannister, CEO of TopServe Digital and the man behind the Home Service Hustle, a podcast that talks money, marketing, and the mindset needed to grow a home service empire. He's not just another marketing guy. He's a former HVAC pro turned marketing assassin for contractors across the country. His mission, turn regular companies into local legends. His message, rankings don't matter if nobody remembers your name. In his new book, well, let's just say it's not pulling any punches. Nation, let's take a second to welcome in our first guest on today's show, Jonathan Bannister. What's up, Jonathan Bannister?
Good morning, Keith. How you doing?
How are you, pal?
I'm great, thank you.
I'd like to introduce you to Marty and John, a couple brothers from a couple mothers.
Good morning, Marty.
What's up, Jonathan? How you doing, man? What's going on?
Man, how y'all doing?
Jonathan, what's up, brother?
How you doing, man?
We got Johnny laughing here. I think so. Johnny, are you seeing squiggles or are you seeing real video happening in front of you right now?
No, actually, I've got this fucking thing where I whooped his ass. I finally figured it out. I basically, I got the thing to clear, and I had to just like shut the whole fucking machine down. It like kind of dawned on me like my phone. My phone gets overloaded. You know, you got to like let it. I had to turn it off so it totally disconnected all the connections. Came back. Now we're clean. We're good. Awesome. Good to have you on here, Jonathan. We're running a few minutes behind on schedule this morning. Are you okay to stick around for some extra time this morning?
I'm good, thanks.
Awesome. So first of all, where are you joining us from today, Jonathan?
Dallas, Texas.
Oh, the home of the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah, well, I'm the home of the Winnipeg Jets, so I'm no better than you guys because you guys got knocked out as well here last week. So, Jonathan, what's shaking? Let's start with the title. You have a title that says, "Why Fuck Digital Marketing." What pushed you to write that book?
Yeah, it was 10 years. This is my 10th year in this space, and over the 10 years, we've seen, this disadvantage from the big tech companies, right? Google and Facebook, they make the rules, right? And so I think it just dawned on me one day. I just started thinking about the way businesses used to be ran before digital marketing came along. And I was like, I think it was a better time for all business owners, not just in home service, like literally across the board. If it was radio, TV, billboards, and direct mail, like if that was your options to be able to do marketing advertising on, they were expensive, right?
The yellow pages. Remember the yellow pages?
Yeah, and yellow pages. That was the other one I was going to say. They were the only boys on the block, and it was expensive. And a lot of the small mom and pop stores could really only get like a little small spot in the yellow pages. They couldn't do TV and radio. It was just way too expensive. So if you couldn't afford to do those things, then you had to do guerrilla marketing, and you had to have a great product or service, and you had to have a great sales process, and you had to follow up with the fucking leads, and you had to treat people right. And then digital marketing came along and that all changed. And business owners, I think, got real fat and lazy and just said, you know what? We can treat people like shit. We can act however we want because we're just going to go buy leads from Yelp and Google and Facebook and Bing and TikTok. And just the next one kept coming and coming and coming. But in reality, what was happening when you do TV and radio and these other platforms, you're building a brand. You're building your own brand, and customers come to you when they have a problem or they want to buy a product that you sell because you've already pre-positioned yourself as that company they want to do business with. But when you get on these other platforms like Facebook, Google, TikTok, and these other YouTube, you're only renting space. You're renting space on their field, and they can change the fucking game and the rules of the game every single day. And they do, right? I mean, there was a time you could target who you wanted to put your ads in front of, right? Like John here, I'm not sure what John sells, but it's got to be something along the health and food industry. All right. Looks like he eats well. And
he's listed a couple things before I put them down. Just a couple things.
So John, if he's got a product that is going to go to predominantly men that are in the health and workout space, like why should he have to target a whole group of people that may not ever be interested in buying his product or his service, right? But that's what happens with these platforms. They go, you know what, we're going to take our targeting away from you. And you're very limited on who you can target now. And it's like, well, that's bullshit. Why should I have to waste my money and spend it on people that aren't my target?
A quick question, brother. I actually do a lot of digital marketing. Which platform took the focus away?
I mean, Facebook and Google has taken away you may not have realized it as much because you may have a strong custom audience already that you've built over the years. But you used to be able to get real deep because let me tell you, Facebook and Google has more data on people and on this earth, but they sell it. They sell it to other companies. They're selling the data out the back door. And then they tell you, well, you can pick kind of man or woman, but that's about it. Or you can pick age, but you're not going to get super, super deep on your targeting because let me ask you a question
on that, if you don't mind. Huh? So when you're making a Facebook campaign and you're dialing it in the ad set, I mean, you can go man, woman, you can go interest, you can go geographic, you can go school, you can go, recent life event. You're saying none of that stuff works?
It works, but it used to work better. Facebook.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that 100%, man.
Yes.
10 years ago, digital marketing, I could have fucking done it blindfold. Now it's
Absolutely.
Like, dude, you have to be so on top of looking at the littlest signals. And it's like the target went from this to fucking, you can barely see the motherfucker.
100%.
Here's what we're not talking about right now, too. And with all respect, Jonathan, everything we've learned the last 20 years is changing right now, every single day.
100%.
Like every single day. So so everybody out there right now, SEO is done.
Yes.
Stop talking SEO. It's now AIO, artificial intelligence optimization. Right. So anybody coming to you with SEO, tell them to fuck off. Go and start thinking about other things. But anyways, Bannister, something I'm going to tell you that struck me about you, and Marty, we're going to do the fit tip in a second. What struck me most about you, Jonathan Bannister, is that you come from a world of HVAC. So Marty and Johnny, this guy is fascinating to me. What struck me, I wanted you on the show is, and I'm going to use his words with all of love and respect, but you're a blue collar dude who's out there with his sleeves rolled up, getting in the grease, doing the work. Then you put a different hat on and you've got, you got a podcast, you write books, you build brands, you're actually running a media agency, yet on the face of it, you come across like some dude who goes and fixes HVACs. And I love it because when I saw your content, you present one thing, but deep down, you're a smart white collar motherfucker who helped 1,500 businesses grow their companies. And I love that about you because what you present is very different than who you are. Your company changed its name from Cornerstone to TrueServe Digital. Like, dude, again, I was fascinated by your story, which is why I wanted to have you here because you clearly know what's going on in your space, Jonathan Bannister.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, look, the book for me was just a eye-waking moment. Hearing clients' frustrations over the years, and it kind of just dawned on me one day that I didn't know about branding. This wasn't the space that I came from. Like he said, I'm from a completely different world and background. Right before I got into digital marketing, and before I even got into the HVAC space, I was in law enforcement. So I was a cop and started having kids 3 years in a row. 3 kids in 3 years, 2012, 13, 14. And my wife's like, hey, you're broke and they're shooting cops for fun. And it's not fair that these boys may not have a dad one day. So you're going to be broke and I'm not going to have a husband. So she kind of planted a seed, and that kind of, next thing I know, I started getting caught up into local political politics. And I was like, all right, it's time to make a move. And then next thing you know, the HVAC and the digital marketing world was my future. And then, so now over to 10 years, it's just been like, man, like, how do we jump from one platform to the next? YouTube has been great at one time. Like John was saying, Facebook. I mean, look, when we first got into Facebook 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, like literally you could make millions of dollars doing Facebook ads for companies. Like, and it was super easy. And those same people today, like John said, will tell you they either can't make money on Facebook anymore, or it's really, really hard. And so it's not that the traffic on Facebook has gone down astronomically. It's that the platforms have made it harder for you to be able to do what you used to be able to do. And
there's everybody and their brothers in there trying to do it. So the competition's gone sky high.
Correct.
So you got to be good, and the platforms have made it more difficult. It's coming from every direction.
Yeah. And so what I've learned is that you got to have a strong brand, right? If you have a strong brand, then people are going to think of you whenever they need, if it's a vitamin that you sell, or if it's, air conditioned service, you're a plumber, whatever it is, when they have a problem or they need that service or that product that you happen to offer, you want their brain to just like a light bulb to go off. And it's because you've already earned that space. You've earned that brand equity in their brain already. But in order to do that, Keith, you have to spend money and invest into that person up front. And that's what digital marketing has made gone away, right?
Yes.
Because digital marketing is lead generation, and that's what people want. And so in the book, I call it digital heroin. So business owners are hooked on digital heroin and they can't get off of it. Like they go, oh, I can't really spend money on that advertising because I need leads. And they're like, if I don't get the leads, then I can't survive this month. So they can't ever shift to a brand first approach. They can only do lead generation. So it's like the big platforms have gotten
that you get with that viewpoint, you're getting choked out, because when you go the other way, when you push your brand, those clients, you generate those clients, it's more of a longer burn, but then they're coming in, they already know they want your stuff, versus 100%. You generate a lead, it's fucking cold.
That's right.
Today's guest is Jonathan Bannister, CEO of Top Serve Digital, the man behind the home service hustle. Look at the sign over his shoulder. This guy's a unique one. He comes from the world of HVAC, and now he's running a digital marketing agency. I love what he's putting on the table today. He's got a podcast that talks money, marketing, and the mindset needed to grow a home service empire. We got Marty with the fit tip. We're going to come back, keep the conversation going with Jonathan Bannister, and we're also going to reveal a very complicated answer to the morning ritual that helped me build and sell a $50 million business. Guys, you want to stay tuned for this one, because this is probably one of the most.
Mart, you there?
Stick around for that.
I'm here. Yeah. I'm here.
Me. Okay, beautiful. Jonathan, right. Good. Yeah, he does that once in a while. And then he'll start doing this. He'll start doing this to see if he's back. There he goes.
He's back.
Let's do it. Marty, let's do it. Let's do the fit tip. Let's go, guys.
All right, let's do it. Oh, I also wanted to add to that conversation quickly. I'm a brand guy too. Jonathan, if you see me and John, we got our shirts on for our brands. But anyway, we got the fitness tip for today. You have the skill set to get fit. A lot of people don't realize this. You already have the skill set, and you implement these skills daily. All right, think about it as a parent, spouse, business professional, right? You have the discipline. You're juggling multiple priorities, multiple responsibilities, and you're pushing through the challenges. That's something you need to get fit and get on your fitness game. The same drive that you use to juggle these responsibilities, that's going to fuel your fitness transformation and get your health on point, right? So a lot of people think they need to dedicate hours and hours and hours to the gym, but you just have to be smart and efficient with your approach, just like you do with fitness and just like you do with your family. If you have a task at home, you don't spend hours trying to get it done. You don't spend hours trying to get the kids ready for school. You don't spend hours trying to clean up or whatever the task is, right? You have a system, right? You implement that and you're good to go. And then you just rinse and repeat. So look at yourself as you're leveling up in business, right? You leveled up as a parent. You might have had a mentor or somebody older than you teach you. It's the same thing. So you can hire a coach. You can use Chat GPT. You can get on YouTube. You can get on TikTok. Get somebody with a strong brand like Jonathan was talking about and make those fitness goals happen. Make it come true. All right. That's the fitness tip for today.
Hey, here at 8:30 Eastern time. I think Marty's got to rock and roll out of here, brother. You got to rock and roll, brother?
Yeah, I got to rock and roll, man.
Marty's got to rock and roll. Say goodbye to Jonathan.
Sir. Hey, Jonathan, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too, Martin. Great tip. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, man. No problem.
Awesome. Marty's going to rock and roll. See you tomorrow, my brother. From another
real quick, Jonathan, you on LinkedIn, Jonathan?
I am.
All right, I'm going to add you on there. All right.
Yeah.
Keith, see you tomorrow, man.
You betcha, brother. All right, Marty's going to get out of here. Good morning, Be Driven. Bernard joining us as well. Grand Rising. I love that he's working out of construction like I am. I got to tell you, Bernard, what I'm loving about Bannister, he's not just another marketing guy. He's a former HVAC pro, former cop too, turned marketing assassin for contractors across the country. His mission, turn regular companies into local legends. Jonathan Bannister joining us here all the way from Dallas, Texas. Jonathan, you said that Google monopoly is going away. What are you seeing that others might be missing as you go about your day-to-day things?
Right, like today, like what are people not paying attention to?
Yeah.
I mean, what you just said a little while ago, where you said SEO is dead and AIO is the future. I still hear my competitors are trying to sell and push and talk about SEO, and I saw people still selling the phone book in 98, 99, 2000, right? And so they sold it, right? But there was some of us who used it to start bonfires when I was.
Who has the yellow? Does somebody still have the yellow pages? Is that? I mean,
no.
The last time I saw yellow pages, because somebody was fucking ripping it in half for a stunt.
So I thought it was completely gone. I was actually on a webinar recently with a branding company expert, who this lady runs an air conditioning company, her and her family, but she also runs a branding agency, but they're in like the middle of nowhere in a city called Lufkin, Texas. And she told me that they still had the phone book in Lufkin, Texas. I was like, I didn't think it existed anymore at all. So there are some little
that would make sense though. Some of those little kind of podunk areas that don't want to let go of the old traditions, that would make sense.
Yeah. And so I think that's what's going to happen with SEO, Keith, is there's still going to be people like my mom and dad. It took them years to start using Google on their phone. So they're still going to use Google. They're never going to have Chat GPT or anything on their phone before they die. So there's going to be some people just like Bing, right? Bing is useless.
Expedia. It's like Expedia and MapQuest. Like people still use Expedia and MapQuest. I have a friend who lives and dies by MapQuest, and I laugh because every now and then he'll send me a link.
Dude, I still say MapQuest even though I'm using one of the new apps, because it's just so fucking ingrained in my head. I always say, Terry, hey, put this into MapQuest. She's like,
I remember printing those.
She's like, you sound like you're giving an AOL.com fucking email. You be quiet.
What strikes me most, Johnny, about Jonathan Bannister when I was doing a research to invite him on the show is that if I'm in the contracting or HVAC and I'm just going to use an air quotes, Jonathan, like the blue collar industry, you immediately walk into my world with instant credibility. I just love that about you because you present in a way that you're relatable to me. Talk about authenticity, relatability, and just being able to mirror your customers. I got to think much of your success is because who you are as a human, not how you dress, not how you present yourself, but just everything, how you present yourself. And I bring that up.
Brother, I see it too. I see that too. What I was going to say, I think, there's just, there's some people that present themselves in a way where you want to hear what they have to say next.
Yes.
And sometimes you can put your finger on, sometimes you can't. But Jonathan, you got that. I'll be honest, this conversation would not be one I'd be terribly excited to have because it's not really exciting to me, but I'm enjoying it because I'm having it with you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tony. Yeah, because it's intriguing to me. Like you're absolutely intriguing to me, Bannister. You are, and I'm thinking if I'm an HVAC guy and you walk into my office, I'm instantly listening to what you have to say.
Well, I think, look, first of all, I thank both of you guys for saying that, but I think it's because, what digital marketing wasn't my world. And I tell people I didn't go to school for this shit. I had to learn. And so there's a story where this is how I transitioned from law enforcement straight into digital marketing. When I got caught up in the local politics, here's the quick 30,000 overview of what happened. When I first started at the police department, I was told, don't get caught up with this one guy, this kid. And I was like, okay, why? And they were like, it's the sheriff of the city I lived in. It's the sheriff's son, and he's a fucking dirtbag. But the chief of my department and the sheriff keep going, having this, big dick pissing contest. So they said, don't get caught up with this kid. And so for a couple years, I never ran into him. And one morning, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:45 a.m. I'm leaving shift at 6 a.m. I drive through this apartment complex and I'm shining my flashlight through, it's pitch dark outside. And I see someone between two apartment buildings by the air conditioning system. And so I get out the vehicle to go figure out what it is. And when the guy comes at me, he's got no shirt on, but he's got a gun tucked in his waist. So I draw down on him. I get the gun from him. And when I get his ID from him, it's that fucking kid. And I'm going, man, what bad timing. I'm going home in 15 minutes. Why am I seeing a kid with this last name at 5:45 in the morning, got a gun in his way? So he wasn't old enough to have a handgun. So that's what they wanted to charge him with. My chief gets out of bed and comes down and they tell me to arrest him. And I'm like, I'm not going to arrest him. You arrest him. And they were like, no, arrest him. I said, well, no, because if I take him out to the county jail that's got his dad's name on it, they're not going to open up the gates anyways. I was like, this is nothing more but a political suicide for me. Like, why are you doing this? So I make the arrest because I was forced to. Of course, the attorney called me the next morning and said, can we work this out? I said, I won't even show up to court. I said, I know this is a complete game. Well, now you fast forward about a month and a half later, 5 or 6 weeks later, I get caught up. My lieutenant asked me to come to a backup call. All right. It's 35 degrees outside. And when he's got someone stopped, a male passenger, he's beating sweat down his head, but it's 35 degrees outside. And so when I started questioning him some things like his age, date of birth, and then asking him how old he was, all the information he was giving me was false. And when we go to get him out the car, the fight's on, right? So he's hopped up on PCP or something. He's feeling no pain. So the fight's on, and we roughed this dude up for 30 or 40 minutes because he wouldn't stop fighting. And I got my knees and shit tore up like in the fight. So the next day I had to go to our local clinic to just get cleared like a drug test and stuff. So I'm on my day off. I go with my wife and 2 kids. She's pregnant with our 3rd child. I pull up to the clinic. I go in, take the drug test. I'm about to leave. And when I'm about to leave, the nurse goes, oh, wait. I forgot I was supposed to give you a second drug test. And I was like, what are you talking about? I just took the drug test. And she goes, no, I was supposed to give you one for anabolic steroids. And I said, are you fucking kidding me? Like you're talking about a specialized drug test that has been ordered. I said, who ordered this? And she was like, it's got the chief's name on it. And right then I took the drug test. I went straight to my doctor to go ahead and have some tests run and whatever. But I went straight to the chief and I said, you're not going to make me part of your political bullshit. Right. And then later on, I find out I went ahead and resigned. But later on, I find out that the sheriff basically went to our mayor and said, everyone that was involved with my son's arrest, if they don't either get fired or demoted, the sheriff's department will not help out your city any longer.
Yeah, you smelled that coming from the jump.
100%. 100%. Yeah. But I always think back of my wife planting that seed. You know, my 1-year-old at the time, the first kid, was sitting in my patrol car. I'm about to go to work, and my wife's sitting there pregnant with the second. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, you know, like what is your plans past this? Because you can't stay in this profession knowing that you make no money, and I can't have the kids with no dad. So she planted that seed. And then, you know, I didn't know that those doors that were going to be shut were going to be the best thing ever that could have happened for me, but they were. And I'm super grateful and thankful that they did. But I remember at that time of going to the doctor and calling a buddy of mine. And I called him. I said, hey, I'm walking in the doctor, but I'm just going to give you the short version. I'm thinking about leaving law enforcement. I said, do you have anything you're working on? And he goes, yeah, I'm selling mobile apps. Or no, he goes, I'm making mobile apps. And I was about to call you and see if you wanted to help me because he knew I had a sales background. So I went and saw the technology of how the push notifications and the geofencing worked on these apps. And I was like, oh, I can go sell these to all the people I play poker with or play golf with. So they all own businesses. And that's what I did. So Keith and John, listen to this. I went to this seafood restaurant, right? I'll never forget. The guy's name was Scott, and he owned a seafood restaurant. I played poker with him. I left his office and he goes, yes, I'll buy an app from you. He said, but Jonathan, my SEO sucks. Can you help me with my SEO? And I said, yes, Scott, we can help you with that. I walked down these wooden steps because it was a 2 or 3 story seafood restaurant. I got in my car, Keith, and I Googled what is SEO. So that is the reason why I'm relatable to people, is because I didn't understand this 10 or 11 years ago. I've learned it. I'm obsessed over it. And I can separate myself.
Well, you know, brother, real quick, you said you didn't go to school, but the stuff that you would have learned at fucking school wouldn't apply now anyway.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
I mean,
you know, anytime somebody comes to us that with a marketing degree and wants to get a job with me, unfortunately,
I'm glad you went to college. That was some good character development, but what you studied in this fucking field makes no difference.
Yep.
Hey, you're with Keith and John and our friend Jonathan Bannister this morning. I'm Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. We're going to do the lifestyle tip of John Andersen and bring Jonathan Bannister back for a couple more comments here before we wrap up our segment with Jonathan is giving us his full story. And Jonathan, I like how you shared it with us because it took a little bit of time to get there, but what you got to the point was that you had to make a pivot, didn't have a choice. Mm-hmm. You made it. You got after it. And Johnny, it wasn't someday. It wasn't one day. It wasn't one day when it was going to be convenient. You just got after it. And again, I bring it up because often men and women, but men get so caught up in when they're going to do it, when they're not going to do it. You had no choice. You went and got after it.
He did it when he wasn't ready. And that's what I'm going to do my lifestyle tip on. Because that's fucking perfect. Because, I mean, that's money. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Jimmy, let's do the lifestyle tip with John Andersen. We'll come back to Bannister. All right, pal, let's do it.
All right, so this one is bouncing right off what we're talking about with our guest, Jonathan. See, he made a change, but he wasn't ready. He wasn't even prepared. You see, the average man is always telling himself it's not the right time, it's not the right place. He's waiting for that perfect thing. He needs more time to prepare. See, the elite man, he just steps. He takes the first step, and he's not ready. Because he knows he's never going to feel ready. You never feel ready to get uncomfortable. That's the thing you got to understand. Just do it. And once you do it, you'll figure out what step number 2 is. But until you take step number 1, you don't have a clue where you got to step number 2. You know, the guy that sits there and plans the first 5 steps, he's also the guy that never takes the first one. Just take the first step. Just remember this. You're never going to feel ready. You're not supposed to. So the question you got to ask yourself, are you an average man and you're going to sit here and wait and plan for that time that never truly exists? Or are you going to be a successful man, an elite man, and take that step before you're prepared, even when you're not ready? Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, getting after Johnny Andersen with a lifestyle tip every day, 8:45 Eastern time. We're hanging out with Jonathan Bannister, myself, and John Andersen. Guys, the morning.
Don't you shortchange me on my piss, goddammit.
I'm just about to say, Jimmy, we're going to let Andersen get out for a piss. We're going to keep Bannister on the stage here, and we're going to work towards wrapping up with the young man joining us from Dallas, Texas here today. Guys, so I kicked it off, and I kicked off the main topic of the show was the morning ritual that helped me build and sell a $50 million company. Jonathan, I'd expect you to know nothing about my story. I come from the digital marketing world as well. I built a social media company, bootstrapped it, and had a wonderful exit of 50 million bones a couple years back. And I will recall, and I want to drop biggest piece of information for people tuning in right now that I hope you guys build and sell your own company as well. And it's fucking complicated. So I need y'all to pay attention. So I recall a story. I was sitting back with my business partner at the time, and Bannister, you're going to love this, man. And he's talking to me about the business, and we're getting after, and he's like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, I need you to pivot. I'm like, oh. He goes, I need you to pivot to one thing. I'm like, oh. He goes, we need sales. It's like, what? He goes, we got to sell. Like, holy fuck, you're right. So the one ritual, nation, the one ritual that I changed, every single day I woke up and asked myself one question. Is the activity I'm doing right now directing revenue? And if it didn't, I stopped the activity. Whether it was an indirect action or a direct action. Guys, HR, not important. Operations, not important. Dotting the I's and crossing the T's, not important. Go and sell something. Because when you sell something, then you get HR. When you sell something, you get operations. So it was June 1st this weekend, and it's not lost upon me why this topic is here today. For the first 6 months of the year, we've been focusing, and last year we've been focusing on building this business. But I can assure you that as we're going into June, into the rest of the year, our focus is relentlessly on revenue now. Revenue is the number one thing, the number one ritual that helped me build and sell a $50 million business was revenue. Nothing else mattered. And as I said to my team, every action and activity we went through every single day, you ask yourself this question. I don't know what to do today. Well, do something that generates revenue. And then ask yourself if it's an indirect activity that generates revenue. Everything we should be doing should be generating revenue. And I bring it up, Bannister, because too often as we get into business, we get caught up in doing things that we think are important, but they're actually not important. So guys, that's the thing. It's not much more complicated than that. Right? So I
want to say one thing, Keith.
Yeah.
One thing here. I just went on Friday, I think it was. I went to a sales training seminar with a guy named Billy Cox, right?
Yeah,
and this guy has his companies have sold over $2 billion in sales. And the main thing that I took away from that event of him teaching is he said exactly what you just said. Sales is the most important thing. Sales will pretty much take care of everything in the business.
Everything.
Right?
Absolutely.
Without sales, you can't buy the operational help and the restructuring, your SOP put together bullshit. But if you have sales, you can go ahead and hire all those people you need to take care of all that shit.
It's the number one thing for any business. Your culture of your company has to start with sales.
Yep.
And you can all debate me till the sun doesn't shine, but it has to start with revenue, because without that, nothing matters. Nothing matters. So when people say to me, Keith, what's the magic? Sell. That's it. There's no, and then to go backwards from that, and Johnny, this is why you and I get up every single day. Well, to sell, I got to get to bed early. Well, to sell, I got to eat good foods. Well, to sell, I got to go to the gym and lift my heavy weights so I can keep my mind in shape, right? But at the end of the day, guys, all that magic, all the indirect disciples that go towards that one thing is selling. That's it. And Bernard comes back here saying business is time and money at the root. More money makes more time, right? So if we're not selling, nothing else is irrelevant. So I know I'm oversimplifying and I'm having some fun with you guys, but that's just the true proof in it. Bannister, arguments, comments, Johnny?
I think most people, Keith, just don't have a true sales process. So if they're not the person that knows how to do sales, see, I know how to sell, and I think both you guys know how to sell. But if you have a business owner that unfortunately built the product or built the service, they're not a salesperson. If you don't go and find the salespeople and have the actual KPIs in place to say, look, you're going to pick up the fucking phone. You're going to call 50 people a day, 100 people a day. And this is how you're going to follow up with them. I don't give a shit. Like, this is what the ritual has to be. But I think most people don't. And so that's why sales will take a back burner to the business and they'll focus on something else because they don't really know how to go get the job done on the sales department.
Yeah, it's in my experience, it's true. And I'll tell you, that was one of the greatest conversations I had with Maurice back in the day. He's like, because Johnny, we were waking up, and here's the thing too, guys, for business partners, we were both doing a lot of the same things, Bannister. And it became
that's a partnership. That's a kiss of death, man. You need two people that are excelling at totally different things.
Yes, because if we're both doing the same thing, one of us isn't needed. So when Maurice said to me, hey, we got to be really familiar with our roles here, I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we use this metaphor often, all the time, which was, okay, we take the school bus, I focus on the front of the bus. That's all I focused on. All I focused on was coming inside the house, Jonathan Bannister, and all he worried about was what's on the back of the house, right? I never worried about what was happening behind me, never, because I trusted him, and he never worried about the front of the bus because he trusted me. And it was a magical partnership because there was respect and integrity, and I just brought the revenue in. Maurice made sure the revenue was green and not red, meaning it had profit, and we just get repeat, right? It was just focusing on it. That was exactly it, Johnny. Yeah.
It's like two people that, oh yeah, we both like to lift weights. Let's start a gym. Okay, you're both what are your skill sets that are opposite of each other? That's what who gives a shit that you both like to lift weights?
Yes.
that was a funny analogy.
It's one of those. When I was getting started, one of the things that I would do in my book is I would write at the top of my to-do list is I would always have 1 to 3 things that I needed to get done for the day that was going to help the needle move forward.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm working on a business. I'm in the process of it's not to the point where it requires sales yet. So what is it that's going to progress this project forward? So
I'm glad you said that, Johnny, because you said a key word there. You said, I don't know if it has sales yet. No. So you're right. Yes. Yet's the key word. If your activity is indirectly moving towards it being sales, then keep doing that activity, right? So to your point is, I'm working on this project. I know I can't sell it yet, but I know that in 3 days from now, I'm going to. It's just this mindset of even if the indirect activity is moving the direction of selling something, that's where you got to focus. And because again, when our brains get busy building a business, and Jonathan Bannister, you work with guys all the time. I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. So it's just pausing and going, okay, these activities aren't actually moving me in the direction of selling one day. And that's when you get distracted.
Like I'm working on a new project right now.
Yes.
And we're refining. It's a product-based business. I'm pretty much it's a new product-based business. So we're in the process of refining the product. So of course I'm not selling the product because I'm still dialing it in,
That's exactly.
But on that level, there's still so many things. Like today, I know I've got to make a couple of phone calls for commerce to make sure I've got that whole thing lined up.
Yes.
There's always something you can do that, like you said, it's going to lead to sales. And at some point, that thing at the top of my to-do list is going to be looking at sales, looking at revenue, making sure that the whole thing is moving properly. But sales is the foundation.
Sales is the foundation. Mr. Foosball, good morning. I see you there in the comments. Damn, Daddy, we're shaking. Hey, we're hanging out with Jonathan Bannister, the CEO of TopServe Digital, the man behind the Home Service Hustle, a podcast that talks money, marketing, and the mindset needed to grow a home service empire. This dude's done it. Went from HVAC to digital marketing stuff. And Bannister, I got some quick hitters for you before we wrap our conversation today. You ready for them? Are you ready? All right. Most memorable marketing fail.
Most memorable marketing fail would be, I remember a time where I had a team that it was a plumbing company in Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
Great family-owned business. And the owner, she reached out to me about 3 or 4 different times and said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but your team keeps making posts on our Google business profile. And it's HVAC posts, but all they did was plumbing. Right. And so obviously, we had some operational issues. I had some wrong people in the wrong seats. And, those are embarrassing moments whenever you mess something up so ridiculously easy. It's a plumbing company only. Why are you putting anything HVAC related on their profiles? But yeah, that one sticks out because, some people got fired and we obviously had to go back and restructure some of our processes, but that one sticks out.
One brand you admire outside of home service.
Probably this sounds weird. I would probably say it would be equal to me, probably Starbucks and Chick-fil-A.
Nice. And then third one.
Here's the reason why. Both of them, you take a kid in between the ages of 4 and 9 in the United States, every one of those kids is probably going to know what both of those logos look like, even though there's not a cup of coffee on Starbucks and there's not a chicken nugget or a French fry on Chick-fil-A. That's how strong the brands are.
Dude, and I never took my kids to Chick-fil-A. They knew exactly what that shit was.
Exactly. And most kids have never drank coffee before, but they know that that's a fucking Starbucks. And that's a strong brand.
And over time, Bannister, the other brand you're going to admire outside of home service is Mornings in the Lab.
I can't wait.
It's Keith and Friends.
Hey, I would also say Apple, right? Because there was a time that all of us on this call right here used to go get a cell phone, and it was just like, we didn't even want the box that came in. They would just give you the flip phone when you leave the store.
That's right.
And then next thing you know, a few years later, people were fucking pitching tents and sleeping outside to get a cell phone.
Yeah.
That's a crazy brand.
Sales
hey,
call.
Jonathan, forgive me real quick. I got dropped out of here with some computer issues, but I see your podcast is what, Home Service Hustle?
Yep.
What is it? I missed that part. So I just give me a quick.
So I mean, you'll be on it soon, John, right? Because I bring people on to talk about, like Keith said, marketing, mindset, and money. Any person that can help home service contractors get better, like better with their physical life, better with their mental health.
Dude. Yeah. Keith, make sure Jonathan gets my number. Please don't reach out on social media, dude. I have so much going on. I don't want to miss you. Keith will give you my telephone number.
100%. Jonathan, sales call or podcast interview? What's more fun?
Sales call.
Or appearing on our show.
Oh yeah, this one has been a completely different experience, right? But like just a podcast that we're recording and an interview. I mean, look, they're hit or miss. Some people are great, great people to interview. But on a sales call, I love helping people, right? So when I do get to do a sales call, because I take all referrals that come in, I won't pass it to one of my sales guys. So when I get to help someone and spend 2 or 3 hours with them, like it's a great experience because you see them lost. And they've been screwed over by different marketing companies and they don't understand. And that's really what I want people to get is understand how you're getting screwed. Then you won't get screwed as much the next time.
Last show you binged on TikTok.
It was probably one of those live DJ shows.
Very.
If I'm being completely honest.
What's one thing people always get wrong about you, Jonathan Bannister?
That's a good question.
I'll take a stab. I think what just knowing you're gonna probably get a lot like they think you're gonna fucking eat their lunch until you talk to them and realize that you're gonna help them.
Yeah,
that's probably pretty good. It's very close.
Yeah, So I'm going to answer along with Andersen here, Jonathan. That I suspect that every human with you judges the book by its cover. And I mean that as a compliment. And then they hear you speak and then they see your knowledge like, oh, okay, this guy's not scaring me anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and you can see that he has the intention of helping.
Yes.
That immediately takes a guard down. It's like if you see a fucking huge bodyguard, you're not intimidated by if you know he's your bodyguard or a bodyguard that's on your side because you understand that he's helping.
Yeah.
I've left more sales calls and I've heard the same sentence over and over and over go, I learned more in that hour or 2 hours with you than I have ever been taught. Or
that's cool.
One person I remember saying, I've never spent that long on a call ever in my life. And I would have spent longer. Right. And that's the feedback that I want to hear because I truly I want people to be enlightened. Like Keith kept saying earlier about SEO's dead. Like people aren't going to be saying that for a while. So it's like people are still going to keep pushing and selling SEO. And obviously SEO is not gone right this second. But, you got Google out there saying like traffic's not down. It's like, please stop lying to people. Traffic is dying every single day.
Stop trying to sell blind man glasses, man. It's like they got to understand that's the scoop. Yeah, this is good shit. I think for sure, brother. I mean, when someone feels how helpful you are, it changes the game completely.
I appreciate that, John.
Jonathan, your closing question for me, brother. If every home service business owner could only remember one thing from this episode hanging out with us today, what would you like it to be?
That, like you mentioned earlier at one point, Keith, you said that the monopoly with Google is coming to an end. And that's a beautiful thing, right? Because they've had it since pretty much 2001 or 2. They've had this monopoly. It's going away. And we don't know what the future is. We don't know if there's going to be 10 or 15 AI platforms or there's going to be 2,000. So because you don't know that, don't worry about obsessing over just AIO and how do I get on all of these platforms. Focus on your brand, right? Because what we know right now is that the Google AI overview right now, what we know they're pulling from is not search results. What they're pulling from is like brand equity signals. So it's the company they can find that's being talked about the most reviews, the videos that have the most engagement. That's what they're pulling the AI overview search right now from. So that's what you need to focus on, is strengthening your brand. If you strengthen your brand, it's going to help all of your rankings on the AI platform. So just make brand the most important thing. Tell your story, tell your customer stories, and put it on those platforms, but make it the top and middle of the funnel. Stop trying to only worry about how do I get leads. The leads will come when you've built trust and credibility with people through your brand.
Yes. I love that, dude.
Jonathan Bannister joining us all the way from Dallas, Texas today. Jonathan, I've enjoyed you today, man. I appreciate it. You've given us a lot more time than I expected, but I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to grabbing coffee with you later today. Before you go, where can folks find you, connect with you, engage with you, and learn more from you, my friend?
Yeah, so you can go to topservedigital.com. You can also go to jonathan-bannister.com if you want to find my personal links.
Dude, that's crazy. My main website is john-andersen.com. The simulators are starting to. We're gonna have a good time on your podcast.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I'm trying to get like arms your size, so you can give me the tips to get to that next level.
We'll entertain and provide lots of helpful information for you and your audience. Let's go.
I'm looking forward to it. Keith, I appreciate you, my friend.
I appreciate you, Bannister. We're going to grab coffee later today. Okay, I look forward to it, okay?
See you then. Bye, guys.
Awesome, fella. All right, Jonathan Bannister is going to get out of here. Me and Johnny are kicking off here. We got some time here. I got a couple topics before we bring in our next guest, Johnny. We got a guy coming up who talks for a living. Yeah, and his name's not John Andersen and Keith Bilous. He barely wears pants. Well, maybe that's John Andersen. And he just had a baby. Oh, Johnny, at 56.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be Jesus Christ, he's gonna be 56, 66. He's gonna be 72 when his child graduates from high school. Is that me or you froze?
Fed butter. Sometimes all in the same sentence. We got our guest coming up here is Spike Spencer coming up 56. I knew your face is gonna go that way when I dropped that age. We got Spike Spencer joining us in a couple of minutes here, coming up in the lab on the Morning Focus. Johnny, before we do that though, again, you know how much I love to throw facts to support what you and I preach. We talk about here in the lab all the time, and you're all about when people come to you, oh, I gotta go work out for 5 hours today or 3 hours today, and you're like, no, dude, just get fucking 60 seconds and just get a minute and get 3 minutes, and well, Johnny, get this, man. I found something that you're gonna love. This. Have you ever skipped a workout because you didn't have enough time? Today, some research is telling us that scientists have discovered, Johnny, you're gonna love this, man. 3 minutes of daily exercise can produce significant strength gains.
Dude. This is so not a surprise.
I know.
You could do 1 minute. If you took 1 minute a day, 1 minute you did push-ups for as fast as you could for a minute. The next day you did squats as fast as you could and you just went back and forth. 1 minute a fucking day. That would make a difference. I love it, man. So guys that just do 3 minutes of exercise can produce up to 12% increase in just 8 weeks. So guys, I'm bringing this up because Keith and Johnny talk it all about time. We often use anecdotes with all this, but this minimal effective dose approach is revolutionizing how busy men think about strength training. And Johnny, you and I are owning the conversation around snoozing. So John, if somebody snoozes for 9 minutes, well, 3 times 3, you can actually get 3 sets of 3. You can do 3 different exercises in 9 minutes. That fucking snooze button could get you in the best. That time in the snooze button invested in your fitness every day could get you in the best shape of your fucking life.
Think about that, right?
But the worst thing is, instead of fucking hitting it and going back to bed, you fucking hit it again.
Yes.
Now there's 18. Now you're 27. That 27 minutes could fucking change your whole fucking family's life.
I love that. I
You're
love
too fucking lazy. That bed is warm. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, you know what, brother? I'll tell you something, man. So we're talking marketing with Jonathan Bannister. We are owning the idea of snooze. Like this show is owning the idea of snoozing. We're leaning into owning the brand around it. Maybe thinking about creating a snooze button. I'll talk about that after we can own. But I'll tell you something, man. The Swedes are the highest snoozing nation in the whole world. I'm going to find some more research, but the Swedish folks are just snoozing left and right, brother. There's all just fucking snoozing over there in Sweden. But the research matters because time is the number one barrier preventing most men from maintaining consistent strength training. If you can achieve meaningful results in just minutes rather than hours, it removes the biggest long-term obstacle to long-term success. So guys, as Johnny says, all you need is a minute. And this study says 3. So literally get up, get after it. And the results are remarkable. Subjects increase their strength, John, by 12% on average, with some men gaining as much as 15%.
Well, and here's the thing, that 3 minutes, you're going to end up wanting more very quickly.
Yeah.
So that 12%, and especially if you're not doing shit.
Yes.
The first 6 months of you committing to doing some sort of exercise, it's like fucking hockey stick type of progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And John, echoing what you've said, and that's why I really wanted to throw this on the table here. The protocol itself is surprisingly simple. Participants in this study performed just 3 to 4 exercises, each for 30 to 60 seconds. That's it. Just like Andersen was saying, like, no, I got to do a 45-minute thing. No, they did 4 exercises, 30 to 60 seconds, and then they were done. The emphasis was on, Johnny, quality over quantity, with each rep performed with max intention and focus. Imagine what happens when we're intentional. We talk about it all the time. With the power of intention, isn't it?
Dude, focus is a fucking superpower.
Yeah, I love that. Well,
God damn it.
It goes back to my secret I revealed about 20 minutes ago on how on the morning ritual that helped build a $50 million company. Focus.
Yeah, you put your attention where it mattered.
Yes, exactly correct. Exactly correct. So guys, it's not simple. The research is selling is 3 minutes. Johnny's all about, 1 to 3 minutes is all you guys need really on a day-to-day basis. And the science is going to redefine your efficient workout. And John, something happened.
Real quick, you got me till 20 today, brother.
Okay, awesome. So here's what we're gonna do. You are gonna chitter chatter, get out of here. I'll walk you out of here before I bring in Spike Spencer here in a couple minutes. I gotta tell you something that happened to me this weekend. Happened to me today. So my alarm, as you know, is set for 3:45. That's what time I get up in the morning. But today I'm gonna try something, brother, because I know how we're all about testing things. Today my body woke me up at 3:40 naturally. So you know what I'm gonna do tomorrow? I'm setting my alarm tomorrow for 3:40. Exactly what I'm gonna do. Because my body said, no, you're up. So I'm going to try a little, because if my body's telling me to get up, and I know you might say, well, then just get up. And I agree with you, but I'm going to do a little test here. I'm going to set my alarm now for 3:40 and see. And then if my body gets up at 3:30, I'll reset it to 3:30. But if my body's telling me that, then why am I doing it? Do you follow me?
Totally. And I think like today, I actually woke up a full 30 minutes early.
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
I was up at 2:30. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was laying in bed. I was like, okay, I was awake. Slowly came to awake. I could tell I had a good night's sleep. And I was like, God, you only got up twice to take a piss. You must have been sleeping fucking deep. I couldn't
wait to attack the day today. I was excited.
So I went and looked at my alarm and I was like, holy shit, it's only 2:30. Well, it was because of the quality of sleep that I had.
Yes.
So that's something you want to think about. If you really focus on the quality of your sleep, it'll start fucking marching back. Like, I'm not sure what you're doing with your bedtime, but make that thing rigid. Because I fell asleep a little early. I actually fell asleep at 7:30 last night, which makes sense why I woke up 30 minutes early.
Yeah. I've been really, so as we've been talking here in the show, and I've been really focusing on my non-negotiables, adding sleep to that. And I was in bed last night by 8 o'clock, lights were out before 9 o'clock. I was sleeping by shortly after 9. I was up. And I've been really focused. And I'll tell you something else I did. And we didn't have time to get into it today. We'll do it tomorrow, but a habit stack. I did something last night that I had been poor with, admittedly, which is quickly crushing water the moment I wake up in the morning. So what I did last night before I went to bed was I got my bottle of water set up, put it onto my table. So the moment I got up this morning, first thing I did, grabbed that water, chugged it, thought about you. It's a true story. I thought, okay, Johnny, I just crushed my water, walked over to the bathroom, had my pee, but I started it the night before. I got into that habit of getting my water ready for this morning. You follow me?
We know 100%, and one of the things speaking of water, one of the things I realized that actually helped me is a lot of times when I get up to pee,
Yeah.
I've taken a piss. I'm like, God, you really didn't have to pee that much. And I realized I'm thirsty. So when I got up to take a piss, I actually had a pretty good piss because I'd been sleeping pretty well. So I actually gunned down a pretty good my water that's out. I gunned down 10 full gulps because I knew that if I got enough water, I would sleep longer again. If I'm dehydrated, it's like I said, I wake up and I think I got to piss, but I realized I didn't have to piss that much. I'm actually thirsty is why I woke up.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and our good colleague and friend and producer on the show here, Melissa Neiman, says, I took your advice from last week about setting the alarm for the time you want to wake up. I woke up naturally 10 minutes before the alarm went off today. Mm-hmm. The power, right? These little things that we learn, right, around sleep and so forth. I'm loving this. I had a conversation with a lady this weekend at a party about the morning show. She was how you like waking up in the mornings. I'm loving it. I'm loving my morning.
I was thinking about one thing that we've got to say to our audience here.
Yeah.
Because we bring lots of great information to the table, right?
Yeah.
But I think people tend to think because they know something.
Yes.
That's the drill. Do not confuse information with implementation.
Oh, yes. Well,
just because you know, like if I'm just saying, oh, I know that. Are you fucking doing it?
It's no different than talking to somebody and you're talking to them. They're like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you know how to eat right, why are you so fucking fat?
You know the people I'm talking about. The person you keep talking to, like, yeah, I know, and they're just agreeing with everything you're saying. You're like, what the fuck?
And the thing is in generally speaking, some of this basic stuff people do know. They're just not doing it. So don't confuse information with implementation.
Yes. Speaking of implementing, I know you got to rock and roll. What do you got on the agenda today, my brother?
So I actually have, I got a busy day today. I'm gonna get my training in. I've got a team meeting, then I got a podcast right after that. Then I'm gonna go play pickleball. Then I'm gonna take a nap. Then I got a little chunk of time where I'm gonna be working on the business, and then I've got another podcast at 3. So it's a busy day.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, hey, I'm glad we got your tech sorted out this morning. Took a couple of hiccups along the way, but we got it done.
I was having anxiety because I'm like, not only for us, but I'm like, I have to do 2 podcasts later today, and this thing's froze, man.
I could tell. Yeah. Well, listen, you got it sorted out. You look good. You sound good. And it seems like it's all sorted out. So you enjoy your day. You get after it. And we'll look forward to connecting with you tomorrow. Okay, brother?
Have a good loop, my brother.
All right, pal. You too. All right. Johnny Anderson's getting out of here. Woo, baby. We got a guy coming up who talks for a living. It's not me. No, I've been talking for a living for the last 90 minutes. The guy barely wears pants. Jimmy, do you think he has pants on today? I wonder. Yeah, I'm just curious if he's well. But Jimmy, the guy had a baby at 56. So if he's running around the house without pants on, there could be a lot of inappropriate conversations happening there. We got a man serving up voiceovers, truth bombs, and grass-fed butter, sometimes all in the same sentence, coming up in a couple minutes. John, we got that Spike Spencer. Jimmy, we've never had a Spike on the show before. And I got to say this, Spencer, before you come in. I saw your picture here. I saw your picture profile. And I thought I was looking at Horatio Caine. I see your quizzical look. I encourage you, Google Horatio Caine right now. Just do it. Yeah, Horatio Caine. Yeah. David Caruso, former CSI Miami investigator. Yes, it's exactly. It's just the way the light is hitting your face and the attitude. I can just see like the sunglass. I can just see the picture like this. Yeah, that's the David Caruso Horatio Caine look. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, there was a series of CSI Miami where Caine came out, thought he was the greatest actor of all time, and then he didn't have a job. I was like, oh, I think you're actually not a good actor. You don't got a job anymore. So he's out just exactly. Yes, we want to have Spike bring the sunglasses in. Listen, you're hanging out with myself. Johnny Andersen was here today. We had Christopher Martin was here today. We also had our guest Jonathan Bannister here today. I invite you guys, if you're a blue collar dude, HVAC dude, somebody in the blue collar world, not talking judgment, no, talking about a guy on our show for the first hour is all for you guys. He came from a world of HVAC, became a cop, now he's a digital marketer. And it's just not what you think. You're like, well, that guy's a white collar dude. Blue collar dude transformed himself into a white collar guy and is getting right after it. Yeah, just labeling everybody around here today on the show. We had a big conversation about Froning to kick the show off with Marty. How many of you men are in a relationship because of maybe the trophy you have. Or the woman thinks you're the trophy. Maybe it's the other way around. Froning is a thing happening in the world out there. And then we kicked off the show, Spike. I know you weren't here, but we kicked off the show encouraging men to get after their life expectancy work, which is having sex with either their partners or themselves. Because we know that masturbation does not decrease testosterone. Because there's some concerns that if we masturbate too much that, well, Jimmy, the guy's 56, he's having babies. I don't think there's any concerns about masturbating or having kids at this age. So, but guys, we talked about in the first hour, don't be afraid to masturbate. It's not going to affect your testosterone. And Azim came into the conversation earlier on today saying, yeah, he gets after 2-3 times a week, and he's feeling very good about that for himself. So guys, we got some science on the table today that masturbating is not hurting your testosterone levels. As a matter of fact, I'd invite you guys to get after it today at some point throughout the day. Jimmy, I'm talking to you too, pal. No, I'm talking to you too. All right. Oh, Jimmy, I just saw your notes because I forgot to put your chat window in front of me here. So I see that you got an idea. Let's do something like our, yeah, I don't, we didn't get to the habit stack today, Jimmy. Oh my goodness. All right, let's do this. Let's bring in our next guest. Today we're joined by Spike Spencer, a man who's reinvented himself more times than you've hit snooze this week. He's a world traveling voice actor, NLP master coach, author, and the head and the host of Chow Time, his own cooking show. He's also the father of 3, the most recent born just 3 months ago at age 56. We're talking life reinvention. Yeah, true story, life reinvention. High-level truth and what it really takes to sustain joy and maybe even your pantry in today's chaotic world. Nation, I take a second to introduce you to and welcome to our guest, Spike Spencer. What's up, Spike? The Chow Time host. How are you, pal?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Are you enjoying the show from behind the scenes up until now?
It's great. I'm loving watching it. I'm looking at John, and I can barely bench press his hat.
But this is absolutely true. Yeah, the guy's been known to pick up a couple of things and put them down before. So I, that's what and he's known for dropping some wise wisdom that comes out of his mouth as well.
Oh, I just stole that. Don't confuse information for implementation. I'm going to be bringing that to one of my groups today. So
absolutely. Where are you joining us from today, Spike?
The Texas Hill Country.
Oh wow, we got
south of Austin.
Oh yeah, so Jimmy, we got a couple Texans in today joining us on the show. We had Jonathan Bannister in the first hour. We got Spike Spencer here today. Spike's known as a professional voice actor, but most of his clients probably don't realize he's usually pantless while working. Is that a true story?
That is a true story.
Yeah,
I'm pantless right now.
Oh, I love that. So am I actually. I'd actually have no underwear on either. So we're just slimy. I'll just hang it out at just a salami show this morning. But hey, you became a dad for the 3rd time in your mid-50s.
Yep.
Your response? Well, whatever makes you happy?
Hey, you know what? Marry young. And by that, I mean marry a younger wife. My wife is 19 years younger than me, so she keeps me alive.
How do you guys deal with the age differences from time to time? Like,
it's a perfect. We're really good together. We are both in the world of improvement, and we take time to talk. Yeah. And we try not to talk at each other. We try to really understand what we're going for, and we're both cheerleaders. That's pretty much our thing.
That's awesome. Today we're joined by Spike Spencer, a man who's reinvented himself more times than you've hit snooze. He's a world-traveling voice actor, NLP master coach, author, and the host of Chow Time, his own cooking show. And I agree with you, Holroyd. Pants are the worst. Spike, Adam works in the train business, and I'm thinking that I'm wondering if you wear pants when you go to show as well. I'm kind of curious about that. Spike, so let's get some of the questions for everybody. You've said you've lived 5 lives already, dude.
At least.
Dude, which one are you in now, and what's different about this life?
Well, this one now is I'm in the homesteading life and doing some of the things that I really, really want to do, like Chow Time. Cooking has been a passion of mine for years and years and years, and I kind of turned pro when I was in Australia and kind of decided to go that way, but we moved to Texas and got land and chickens and donkeys and goats and all kinds of critters. So yeah, looking at the homesteading kind of stuff.
So I gotta ask, man. So I'm 53, and I'm extremely curious. What's it like becoming a father again in your mid 50s? So first of all, how many children do you have?
3.
3. And what are the ages?
7, 3, and 3 months.
Oh, wow. So you started later in life altogether. So
yeah, first baby at 48.
Yeah. So how has it changed the way you approach life and your career? And lean into that, knowing there's men on the show, our audience is for men. Lean into that. How has it changed the way you approach your life and career?
Absolutely. Well, it's funny because that's kind of where I'm going with Chow Time is sharing mostly with dads who cook, because that's what I do. I think, oh, my kids love this recipe, or my wife loves this. Being older just helped me. I wasn't ready until I met my wife, and she told me early on. She's like, well, if we're going to be together, we're going to need kids. I'm like, with you, you got it. And I highly recommend we start practicing right away.
Yeah. So you guys subscribe to the idea of great. So listen, brother, on this show, we highly encourage our listeners and our viewers and our participants to engage in life expectancy work.
Absolutely.
Because science tells us the more sex our partner's having, the longer she's living. The more sex we are having, the longer we are living. And we're all about longevity on this show. Hence the conversation about masturbating earlier. So, we got to be getting after it. So, brother, I'm glad you were getting after it in your late 40s and now your 50s, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something I tell guys. As I was the dating coach for a while, I wrote a book. Can I throw the book up real fast, or is that?
Oh yeah, please do.
Okay. So I wrote this: Food Game, a man's ultimate recipe for dating success.
Nice.
That's one of them. And I wrote that, and that's how I got my wife. It works. Absolutely. I had a divorce and a bankruptcy when I was 35, moved out to LA, lost absolutely everything, started over in LA. So that was one life. So I was acting, real estate investment, clear the screen, and then off to LA and just did voiceover for 18 years roughly.
Wow.
But I was dating there, and I was an actor with not really any money. I was successful enough to pay my bills, pretty much. And so that's how I dated. I could cook. So the women would come to my apartment. I'd cook for them. It was great and affordable, let me tell you. And that's how I met my wife. I met her at a mixer, and our first date was at my apartment. And we just been together ever since. 13 years now.
So I'm going to suspect that people think that voice acting is easy. What's the biggest misconception that people have about what you do, Spike?
Well, voice acting is acting, period. That's the second word. Whenever somebody comes to me for coaching, I'm like, what is it called? And they go, voice acting. And I say, okay, well, what's the second word? They go, acting. I'm like, have you taken any lessons or anything at all? No. Well, there you go. Step 1, take some acting lessons, because it's acting, especially if you look at video games now. Oh my God, they're phenomenal. It's straight up acting. And there's so many good actors who do that. So it's a skill like anything else. You can't just jump in and go, I've got a voice. I can talk funny. Whee! It doesn't work that way.
So this fascinates me because I'm suspecting, because I've never done it, I'm only just thinking about what I've seen. When you're voice acting, you're watching something on a screen and you are speaking the words of what the character is speaking. Would that be fair for me to assume?
Sometimes that would be the dubbing or anime, or a video game that's already been done where you see it up front. If you're doing like animation, or sometimes even video games, like I did World of Warcraft, years and years ago, and I did like 8 characters on there. I didn't see anything. It was just the script, and the director said, "Give me 2 reads, and if I like it, keep going." And I was like in and out in like that. I had all these lines. He's like, "Boom, go, 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 go." Great, see ya. But that's the way it is. If you're dubbing, that's the hard part.
Interesting. So how could I take my skill set as a morning show talker and become a voice actor?
It depends on what you want to do. I mean, it's like, okay, I want to become a voice actor. Well, there's so many different ways and different routes you can go.
Yeah.
I teach marketing for my students that come to me for voice acting. I teach marketing first, so that I say, okay, go out there and you got to get the auditions. You're going to probably work for nothing for a little while until you get something. I'd say, try not to, obviously, but if you've got no credits, no nothing, you do what you can. and start doing that. But see, you've already got something going that most people don't. You have a following, you've got a podcast, and you've got all this. So you launch from that.
Gotcha. You said something a few minutes ago that's quite fascinating to me as we keep our conversation moving with Spike Spencer this morning, joining us all the way from outside of Austin, Texas. You've survived divorce, bankruptcy, total collapse.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, brother. What pulled you through all of it?
Positive mindset. I'll tell you right now, straight up.
As simple as that?
No. Who says that's simple?
Yeah.
It is funny because people are like, oh, have a positive mindset. No. You're going to go through it. I'm not saying don't go through it. You have to deal with it, and you have to have techniques. And that's what I did. I focused on learning how to deal with what I had gone through and how to be a better man, lover, husband, boyfriend, whatever it was. And that's all I did when I moved out to LA. I went to the bookstores. Remember those? I went to the bookstores and read everything I could, personal growth, development. I just started learning everything. And I got a lot more training later on. After I met my wife, we both got trained in NLP, and we worked with Brendan Bouchard and Tony Robbins and, all the personal development people. And if we haven't worked with them directly, we've studied, their stuff.
Yeah.
It's ongoing.
Dropping nuggets with Spike Spencer this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We got a funny comment from Matthew Rufy. So Spencer met his wife through a book, and Rufy says, "Yes, feed them and they will come." Or is it come?
You know what I say things the way I say things. I didn't meet her through the book, but I wrote the book with her on our honeymoon in Italy, as a matter of fact, and she wrote the foreword for the book, saying, yes, this works.
Yeah, Spike Spencer, forwards and foreplay as an author is how he's. So if you're looking for a trick to have a baby in your 50s, go write a book and feed your new partner, and you might use that as a little bit of foreplay. Hey, Spike, how do food and truth connect in your worldview?
In my worldview, food and truth connect very, very, very closely, especially in like homesteading kind of thing, which is what we're doing here. I'm learning to grow my own food. I'm learning what's actually in food, looking at organic versus non-organic, et cetera, what's actually in that food. We don't eat most of the crap you see at the store. No, well, I grow some, I cook all the food. Like literally, I cook all the food. So like some of the dads out there that do that, they're the ones, hey, come see Chow Time, because that's who I'm kind of catering to. In that, and showing you, hey, here's some cool things you can do with your own food, like canning. I mean, who knew I would want to be into canning? And I just made shitloads of blackberry jam.
My mom's a massive canner, man. My mom's an amazing canner. That's great.
There's a science to it. I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And so I grow my own stuff, and then I put it in. That's all I know. There's no chemicals. I know it's organic. I know it's good. I've got chickens out there. I got eggs every day. So, I mean, I know what's in most of our food. And I think that's important, because when you see what's being done to all of us, you start seeing bigger things and you go, ooh, I need to focus on my nutrition first.
I see your connection. So because when you're eating food, you love to know the truth of what's in it. I love that because there's so much lack of truth in much of the American food served to the American public.
Oh, it's hideous.
It's not even actually called food, actually. But hey, you mentioned Chow Time, and I know it's a successful podcast of yours. Tell us about that. How did the idea go from stovetop to screen?
Well, it's funny because I've always wanted to do a cooking show. I'm a foodie addict.
Yes.
I mean, like I appear at conventions and stuff, and when I'm not doing my thing, I'm in my hotel room, and it's always like, "Where's the Food Network?" I want to see that. And I just love it. I love food and travel, and I've traveled to many, many different countries, and I eat the food. I'm just like, oh, this is amazing.
What I enjoyed about Anthony Bourdain's content.
God, I loved him.
I'll just reveal here to you, but if I'd be lying if there wasn't a little bit of Anthony Bourdain influence in my world, in my show, and how I present, and because we lost a man too early. Loved his content, loved his style, loved how he presented himself, loved the authenticity of Bourdain. You know what I'm saying, Spike?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I had a story. I went to the restaurant that shall not be named in Rome. So I get it. And I used to have a podcast called the Mind Scrambler podcast, which I may bring back. That's more of the mindset. But right now I'm focusing on the food and trying to bring the mindset into that as well, to show guys, mainly, I guess, mostly dads, ladies are invited too, of course. Yeah. But I do real easy stuff. It's like, hey, you got kids to feed. Here's a French omelet. Yeah. It's not that hard, dude. Here. My wife loves that. So that's kind of where I go with it. And, I'm going to keep going sort of toward the dads. I think there's a lot of dads out there who are doing a lot of cooking, and people don't really talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree with you. So then let's go here then. So if you had to coach someone, let's say a dad, a man, a coach, on cooking and life at the same time, what would the first lesson be?
Feed your passions. Straight up.
Tell me more.
What do you like? What lights you up in life? So something I talk about dating. I'll just go off that for a second. Yeah. So one of the things in a relationship is you get into these ruts and you're just kind of like, I don't know. Especially if you're together all the time. Yeah. You got to say, hey, you know what? You go do what makes you happy. I go do what makes me happy. And we'll come back and we'll talk about it and we'll both be ignited. And that's what happens, because a lot of times people get in this rut and they're like, I just don't want to do anything, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Talk to each other. Find out, hey, you like crocheting in the nude? Awesome. I like sailing, whatever. Do that. And then come talk about it.
That's awesome, man. Spike, what's the weirdest voice gig that you've ever taken in your voice acting journey?
What's the what?
What's the weirdest voice gig you've ever taken?
Oh man, the weirdest voice acting is probably a hentai I did a long time ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anime porn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like 30 years ago.
I don't even know how to respond to that one.
Oh dude, it's freaky, and we didn't use our names. So my name was Thong Flossman, and my friend she was Helen Bed. And we just had a ball. It was ridiculous. It's like, how many tentacles go in there? My God.
Oh, my. That's awesome. What's up, batshit crazy? You're hanging out with myself and Spike Spence this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith friends. Hey, just a reminder to everybody tuning in right now, we've launched our brand new Mornings in the Lab community for as little as $2. You can join the community, $10 and $20. We're adding on value to the community every single day. Thanks to Adam Holroyd. Thanks to Lady Drew for being our inaugural members of the community. And no, guys, this is not to line Keith and Uncle John and Uncle Marty's pockets. This is about reinvesting back into the only morning show for men. We have a big vision for this platform, getting up every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Joined right now with our guest, Spike Spencer, all the way from outside of Austin. The dude's got a few kids, but I got to ask you, man, what's one lesson your kids have taught you that you wish you knew 20 years ago? And why I like this question is because you've chosen to have kids a little later in life. So I'm thinking that this question drops differently for you than some of the other men that I've asked this question of. But what is that one lesson that your kids have taught you that you wish you knew 20 years ago, Spike?
To make it simple, I could say patience, but it's not just that. It's also about putting your money where your mouth is. Yeah. And if I train people and I say, one of the things I say in my dating book, it says one of the chapters is when in doubt, chill. When things start going crazy, if your girl starts coming, going unglued, or for some reason you don't even know what's going on, don't match that energy. Chill. Be still. And there's so much power in that, especially with kids. If you come at a kid with the same energy, he is not processing at all. And so whenever you come and talk to him, you got to wait, and you got to kind of nurture and guide them through these emotions that they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. So if you come at them, blah, 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 which I have done as well, I have failed in that. Yes. We all do. But I do better every time I try. And so I go, okay, calm down. Hey, baby, come here. Let's talk, and calm it down while they're crying or screaming or whatever. And that, to me, is like with so many of us in the personal development space, we talk a good game, but when it comes down to it, are you doing it? And that makes me do it. Yeah. And it makes me do it. And my wife keeps me on target with that too, because we balance each other, because we're both trained and we're both coaches and we both understand. It's like, okay, are you being your best self right now? No.
Isn't it magical, Spike, when we slow down?
So much power.
Right. And when you slow down as a parent of younger children, and when you just take, and I don't mean it as a like slow down to a stop, but literally just slowing down to create awareness and just create a few maybe the best way, a few extra seconds within your minute. And I'm not saying adding seconds on, because there's only 60 in a minute, but creating a few extra seconds by slowing down within the minute. Right. Absolutely. And observing and taking a breath. And because I know myself, as I've gotten into my 50s, Spike, I've been focusing a lot on that.
Yeah.
Focusing a lot on it. Right. And responding instead of reacting, and taking a breath and recognizing that your words are your words. They're not my words.
Yep.
You know, it's power in that. Right. And our kids teach us that, don't they, Spike?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like when people say the term that I don't really like, but I'm going to hold space for you.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm creating a space.
Yeah.
I'm creating a safe area for you to talk to me in, knowing that I'm not going to come here, you, it's not going to happen. So that's something that I think that's that's taught me. And it's also taught me how freaking much I can love. Oh my God.
Yes.
I had my little daughter on my chest this morning for an hour. She's snoozing right there. That's the most beautiful thing I've done it with both of my boys. And now I can't, up here with big old bushy hair and all.
Yes,
I'm like, come here, you.
Yeah. Wahoo Willie, I see your comments there. And you know, Wahoo, you make a great point. I think if you got a laugh track button that you hit at any moment, it would add to your show. Hold on a second here. It's funny, Willie, because I just had the button in front of me, then I moved my board away from it. But you're talking about something like like this, right? Exactly. Yeah, we can be like friends, Spike. We can add like behind the scenes, right. Just some behind the scenes laughter going on. And then Willie comes in with. I've seen people take an extra couple seconds cleaning their glasses.
That laugh track's like watching our animation from the 80s, man.
Yeah, to gather their
Scooby-Doo.
Gather our thoughts before we say something next. So, you're right. Wahoo, I thought I'd just take a second to clean my glasses as I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next to Spike and, do a little bit of role playing on the show for you guys. There you go. Hey, we're going to get to the rapid fire round right now with our friend Spike Spencer joining us all the way from Austin. Yeah, rapid fire, brother. I'm going to come at you with a few ones, and it's going to sound, I'm just getting my buttons ready so I can get some music behind the scenes. But, brother, pants or no pants right now?
No pants.
Favorite spice in your kitchen?
Tarragon. No, that's an herb. Sorry. Favorite spice, cayenne.
Cannabis. Cartoon character you secretly relate to?
Scooby-Doo.
Oh, are you Scooby-Doo? Really? Oh, I can do Kermit the Frog here as well.
Nice.
Weirdest thing you've ever eaten, Spike Spencer?
Weirdest thing I've ever eaten? Asparagus schnapps in Berlin.
Netflix or nature?
Both.
Hardest voice to do?
The deep gurgly one, like this, if I'm talking like this. After a while, you're like, I did Kled on League of Legends, Colonel.
Oh, yeah.
And that one wrecked me after the day. I was like, okay, I'll see you on Monday.
I every now and then I drop to drop accents and might talk with people sometime, and I think I go with sometimes don't know what accent come out of mouth, but I just talk for sake of talking. So next question I come to you all the way from Eastern Europe is one word people always mispronounce that drive you fucking nuts, Spike Spencer.
Oh God, what is it? I was just thinking about this the other day, and somebody said something. I was like, okay. You know when people say data and data?
Oh yeah.
I say data, and people say, oh, it's data, and I'm like, no, I saw Star Trek, Commander.
I'm fucking loving you. You're a great guest. I was just about to go there with you. So then, is it data or data in terms of Star Trek? It's data.
I call it Duda.
Or it's Duda. Yeah.
I'm making my own words. Yeah, I love it. Data. I'm like, data.
Truth muffin or reality casserole?
God. It's got to be both of them, but a truth muffin, I like the truth. I don't care. People make up their own realities, but truth is truth.
Oh, I love it. Spike Spencer, last one for you, brother. My closing question. You've lived 5 lives.
At least.
If you could just leave one recipe, my brother, just one, literal or metaphorical for the rest of us, what would that recipe be, brother?
Freedom gumbo.
Yeah.
America.
I didn't expect that response. Oh, hold on. According to Wee Willie, we got to do this right now.
Okay.
There's the laugh track. Spike, dude, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm looking at the clock here. I got my producer in my ears going, dude, we got to keep going here, man, because he's awesome, man. I know. I can talk to you for hours. I'm loving it. I'm loving the pop culture stuff. I feel like we're on the same wavelength here, but I got to respectfully keep the show rolling. Brother, where can folks find you, connect with you, engage with you, work with you, get your book, get your podcast? Please tell my audience how they can get a hold of Spike Spencer, Horatio Kane, and work with you, brother.
Well, first off.
Yes. Yes. I love you. Yes.
All right. You can find me at spikespencer.com. It's so easy. Think about it for a second. I've had people go, we couldn't find you to invite you to this convention. Try this, spikespencer.com, or just put it in Google, Spike Spencer. I'm going to come up. Okay. So spikespencer.com. And of course, on all the socials, just look me up. I'm around. I'm not hard to find. But mainly, I really want everybody to go to Chow Time on YouTube and subscribe to that bad boy. Watch my videos. I've been doing it for about a year now, right out of my kitchen. It's not scripted. I put the camera on and go. So it's just talking like this. If it's a screw up, it's a screw up. If I burn it, burn it. Who cares?
Dude, you're awesome. I hope you had as much fun today as I did with you. And I'm not trying to use platitudes, man. You're awesome, man.
Thank you, brother. You too, man. I love the show, man. I'm like, okay, you guys are rocking and rolling, man. I love this whole thing about helping guys because that's kind of been my thing for a while.
Yeah, there you go, right? So, hey, listen, I don't know if you saw it, but I dropped an invite in your calendar. Would love to grab coffee with you later today or tomorrow, but I'd love to grab coffee with you to learn a little bit more about you, share a little more behind the scenes. I purposely don't meet with guests before the show so we can keep it raw and fun, but I like to meet with them after. So I dropped in your calendar. I really want to meet with you, brother. I love what you're up to. I love what you're doing, and I want to do whatever I can to support you, okay?
Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. All right, Spike's going to get out of here, Jimmy, and we're going to keep the show rolling. We know what's up next. Listen. See ya, Spike. Listen. Ears up. Whoa. Hey! It's that time. It is that time, guys. It's that fucking time. From name-dropping egos to ghost working stats. Barbell confidence to Kaizen habits. This one's got a little something for you on today's Community Corner. It's that part of the show where we connect Substack and LinkedIn on Mornings in the Live with Keith and Friends. Welcome to the Community Corner. All right, let's get after it. Whole Road, I know you love this segment, and so do I. All right, we're going to start our community celebration right inside of LinkedIn. Why name dropping kills real connection. Let's do it, Jimmy. Matt Hunter breaks down something we've all seen when someone's bragging, dropping names, or flexing their resume in a conversation. They're not trying to connect. They're trying to win. Yeah, Matt's point. That whole approval-seeking game doesn't create connection. It kills it. The interesting thing is, guys, we all do it sometimes. Why? Because being admired feels safer than being real. But Matt points out that genuine connection happens when you meet someone as an equal. No ego, no performance, just respect and humility, human to human. So, whether it's your Uber driver or the CEO, I invite you to show up with presence and curiosity. You've heard about this, talk about this countless times, you guys. Roofie, ears up. Kindness counts nothing. And guys, uncommon kindness costs even less than nothing. So, I invite you to consider this. Do you sometimes catch yourself trying to impress, or are you a natural at being your unapologetic self? I want to know. Let me know in the comments. Who are you? All right, number 2 on the LinkedIn side of things. From bulky fears to barbell confidence, Francesca McClory dropped a side-by-side photo of herself, and I love these ones. One shot in the gym carrying serious weight, the other dressed up and confident. Her message, oh, I love this one. Her message is strength and femininity are not mutually exclusive. For years, she worried that lifting heavy weights might her look too bulky or too masculine. Turns out, Jimmy, I love this. Turns out it made her feel powerful. It made her feel confident and even more herself. I can tell you right now, guys, I know my wife feels the same way. Fellas, encourage your partners to lift heavy things and then put them down. I can assure you it's not going to bulk them up. It's going to make them feel strong. It's going to make them feel confident. It's going to make them feel strong, beautiful, and motherfucking unstoppable. All right. Number 3 on the LinkedIn side of things. Here we go. Ghost working is real. And Fast Company just put numbers to it. Here we go. Ally Sayed shared a recent Fast Company article about ghost working, the act of pretending to be busy. You know what it's like with fake meetings, fake staged calls, or typing like you got something going on. Yeah, but you don't. You're just bullshitting it along the way. According to this article, more than half of U.S. employees say they do this regularly. They ghost work. And Ali, he didn't diss himself. He admitted he's done it too. Are you ghost working to your employer? Because those stats are telling and beg the bigger question. If so many smart, capable people feel the need to perform work instead of doing it, what's going on beneath the surface? Over to you, nation. If you've ever ghost worked, why? Hey, Wahoo Willie, you're onto something there. Ghost marriages, they might be a term too. I like that. I like where you're going with that one. I'm sure they exist. All right, let's keep it going. Let's go. Here we go. Number 1 on the Substack side of things. Let's pivot Jim into Substack. The conversation that revealed nothing. Yeah, CJ Gustafson shares how he met someone in his field, a smart guy who built a business. CJ entered the conversation curious, asking thoughtful questions, trying to learn. The other guy didn't ask a single thing in return. Maybe he wasn't interested. Maybe he thought he didn't need to be. Either way, CJ's observation, bang on. Curiosity is underrated, especially in business, especially amongst leaders. We talk about lifelong learners, but how many of us actually do it? I got to be honest. I've had similar experiences to CJ. And honestly, it's wild how many people are like the guy he met. What do you think it says about someone when they stop being curious? Why would you stop being curious? And be honest, have you caught yourself stopping being curious? Not the way to get after it. Okay, the next story over on Substack. Boom. AI is taking over B2B. Are you ready for these 9 shifts? If you're in the B2B space, guys, this one's worth paying attention to. Pierre Harubel made 9 predictions about how AI is about to change everything in the industry. And even if you're not in that space, don't ignore this. AI is taking over everywhere. Oh man, it's taking over everything. And if you're not learning and adapting daily, we might find ourselves in trouble down the line. Here we go. Jimmy, here we go. Let's do it. Number 1, legacy businesses will compete with AI native companies that move 10 times faster. More AI tools means way more competition to build an audience. Number 3, you're going to hire an AI agent to manage your entire tool stack. True story. How do I know I'm doing it? Number 4, B2B creators with real audiences will win sponsorship, partnerships, even equity. Guys, if you're not leaning into AI, you're fucking missing out, man. Number 5, the winning formula, high volume content, intent data, and warm outbound. All right, number 6, T-shaped marketers are out. Full stack AI marketers are in. And 7, marketing ops will be so automated you'll double take. Hello, CMO. Really? Who needs a CMO? Ooh, yeah, he said it. Fucking rights, I said it. B2B video is about to explode. There's another true story. Number nine, Jimmy, the best marketers. Haha, you're looking at them right now. You'll be the ones keeping learning, not just grabbing tools. The best marketers are the curious motherfuckers out there. Yeah, that's a true story. I invite you to go follow Pierre and search for his article titled My 9 Predictions on the Future of B2B Marketing. It's worth the read. I'm curious to know where you stand with AI, fellas. Are you currently learning to use it, or are you still ignoring it? All right, let's go. Jimmy, let's go. Let's keep this energy going. Let's keep the momentum going, guys. We're in the community corner, the last segment of the show to get you guys going for the day. Let's change it up. The Japanese strategy that makes you 30 times better. Wow. Here we go. Let's do it. 1% better every day. It's a popular phase. But if you've ever wondered if it's just hype, this post might be disciplined. Yeah. But if you've ever wondered if it's just hype, this post might be disciplined. You on Substack might make you more open to the idea. The writer, Friend, shares his own journey in discovering the Japanese concept called Kaizen. No, not the protein powder, the art of tiny, consistent improvement. Instead of trying to overhaul everything at once, he started with small, repeatable actions. 2 pages of reading, 15 minutes of bodyweight training, 30 minutes of learning. Not flashy, not life-changing overnight. But over time, it changed his entire rhythm and improved his life. This is yet another example of how consistent action delivers results. What's a consistent habit you've stuck with for months or even years? And what has it done for you? Tell me in the comments. Let me know. All right, that's it for what's happening across Substack and LinkedIn. If you want your story featured on this segment of the show, I invite you. Make your post. Tag Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends over on LinkedIn and Substack. We might just select you and put you out for the world to see. Okay. Let's get into the creative spotlight, where we take a couple people on the platforms and we get after it. Our first one, we're going to keep it on Substack right now. What if the most important transitions in your life aren't the ones you plan, but the ones that confront you when your old identity no longer fits? You've built a life around certainty, a resume full of credentials. People look at you and they think, that person's figured it all out. But inside, something shifts. It's subtle at first. The same meetings, the same goals, the same title. And suddenly, it all feels hollow. Not because it's bad, but because it's no longer you. And if you don't learn how to listen to that quiet discomfort, it only gets louder. Well, there's someone who didn't just notice that discomfort. He let it guide him, walked away from the impressive title, let go of the narrative. Not to escape, but to evolve. He didn't force a rebrand, he wandered, asked better questions, and slowly began shaping a body of work to help others navigate the same fog he walked through alone. He's now an ICF certified executive coach, a recovering venture capitalist, a voice in the transformation space who blends mindfulness, psychology, and leadership into something deeply personal. And he's building one of the most thoughtful newsletters on Substack, where the road bends, focused entirely on personal evolution, life transitions, and constant change. Jimmy, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, is very excited to introduce you to Steven Schlafman, but most people just call him Schlaf. He's not here to teach reinvention like a product launch. He's here to help high performers rediscover who they are underneath the titles and to guide them toward a life that actually fits. Through essays, through coaching, and deep reflection, he's becoming the person he once needed and giving other people permission to do the same. So Mornings in the Lab Nation, if you're in a season of change or quietly sensing one is coming, Steven's work will help you feel less alone. Where the road bends isn't about answers, it's about walking with the right questions. Subscribe follow, and share his work with anyone standing at the edge of their next chapter. And hey, Stephen? Yeah, you, Stephen. Stephen, I'm talking to you. I'm inviting you to the show. I want to give you the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight so you can take the light and shine it on somebody in your orbit so we can keep paying it forward in the creative spotlight in the community corner. All right, Jimmy, let's roll, man. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's dial the energy back up. Number 2, we're going to pivot our attention over to LinkedIn. And I'm going to do this at the same time. Yep. Here we go. I've always bootstrapped, built it, prove it, earn your way forward. But I respect anyone who raises with intent, because raising isn't easy. And most founders aren't failing because of bad ideas. They're failing because the process is broken. That's what caught my attention about this next creator, guys. He's been on both sides. First, as a founder who built and sold a national meal delivery brand, then as the operator behind a $300 million plus in capital raised across fintech, SaaS, CPG, insurtech, sports, and biotech. He's not just teaching people how to raise. He's running the whole thing. Sourcing, materials, outreach, follow-ups, investor pipeline. Most founders think they need intros, but what this guy knows is you really need someone who knows how to manage the raise like a pro. The guy, his name is Matthew Alanis. What's up, Jamie Newstead? Good to see you there. He's the founder of You Will Raise Capital. If you're serious about raising and want to do it done right, Matthew's someone to follow. His team helps founders stop guessing, start closing, and get funded the modern way. So Matthew, here's how it works. Would love to have you on the show, Matthew. Would love to have you on the show. Love to take the old creator spotlight that I have in my hand right now and hand it over to you, Matthew, so you can shine it on somebody in your world and pay it forward on the next creator spotlight right here on the community corner on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We get after it every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on LinkedIn, over there on YouTube, over there on X, and also on Substack. Jimmy, I think it's time to wrap it up, my brother. Woo, baby. Wahoo Willie coming in with another one. Popular quote of Genghis Khan is that someone asked him how he accomplished so much. The answer supposedly was, I never put off anything I could do today. It's amazing how much stuff you can do. True story to that one. All right, we're coming up to the close. What's going on, Jamie? What do you got going on today? Before I say goodbye, I would love to hear what's going on in your world here today. Jimmy, I'm going to go through the comments quickly before we say goodbye to everybody. Mr. Foosball joined us today. Be Driven, Bernard was here. Roofy was here. Lady Drew is here. Adam Howard, without the pants, the OG and the members. What's going on, Howard? I was going to call you this weekend, but I got caught cutting the grass. Yeah, that's a true story. Actually, true story. And I got caught making product for our store. Our store. Yes, nation. Telling you right now, the Mornings in the Lab store is open. It's open. We got some product up there. If you guys got questions, hit me up. I'll answer whatever I can. If not, just put your credit card in and get yourself a hat. True story. Howard, I owe you a hat. Lady Drew, I owe you a hat. You guys can get some discounts. All right. So tomorrow, Jimmy, what's going on tomorrow? Jimmy's like, really? Tomorrow? We're talking tomorrow already? Yeah. I'm talking tomorrow already. Coming up at 8 o'clock right here. Jimmy's frantically typing right now so he can get me what's happening tomorrow. He's like, I got to get it to him. Yeah. He's like just frantically going, what's going on for tomorrow's show? I don't know, but I know we're back here at 8 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time. Right here, the radical stability method. How top performers beat the snooze button every day. Hey guys, true story. I don't know what the hell that means, actually. Yeah, it's going to be fun though. We got Hunter Schwartz joining us on the center stage. And we got Adam Halberstad joining us on the community corner. But until then, we're going to get out of here, Jimmy. My bladder's calling. The restroom's calling. For everybody who showed up today, I appreciate all of you guys. Again, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Like it. Tell your friends. The greatest morning show on the planet. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. 8 o'clock right here Wahoo Willie, I gotta go too, brother. Great show today, and always thank you. Thanks for the tips on getting some laughter. We're gonna do that. And products to ship today and growing. Good job, Bernard. Appreciate you, brother. You gotta wing it. All right, have a good one, guys. Jimmy, what the hell is? Uncle Keith was trimming the shrubs yesterday. I love it, Jimmy. I love it, man. I love you too, man. That's awesome. All right, I'm getting out of here. I gotta go back. I gotta go back to trim the shrubs. See you guys tomorrow.